Recently, I've been enjoying looking up book reviews. And the interesting thing I find about book reviews is looking at the 1-star ratings and looking at the 5-star ratings. Let's say that the 5-star rating says, oh, this book is it's really good, it's very thorough, there's lots of information in here, I really enjoy learning that. And then the 1-star review says, oh, this book is way too long, and it didn't get to the point, and I just wanted to know a little bit more, and this is way too long, this is way too much, very dry stuff. And what I find interesting is that they're basically talking about the same thing, the same characteristic of the book. And some people appreciate the one thing, and then that one thing is not appreciated by another person. And I think that's I'm pretty sure it's helpful to look at it in the same way when people judge you. It's kind of like you just have certain qualities or characteristics or aspects, whatever you want to call it, and sometimes it's appreciated and sometimes it's not. It's just people have their preferences, I suppose. So that can kind of give you a more neutral look on things like that. And I've been wanting to link this idea to Friedrich Nietzsche's book, Beyond Good and Evil. Now, there's a lot to say about the book. Ironically, some aspects that I judged positively and some aspects that I judged negatively. But what the book did for me, or at least what I wanted to take from it, was it's helpful to take a step back and really just take a look at the moral judgments that are out there in the world, and especially the ones that you've grown up in. Nietzsche would say that you should let go of those and then create your own. Because he felt that the ones that we're in now, at least in Western Europe, are not helping people or humanity forward. So you basically replace those with ones that are actually helpful. I'm not saying egoistically helpful or utilitarian benefits, because he actually rejects that wholeheartedly. I'm not sure. Oh, what I wanted to add was, doesn't necessarily believe that all of us can do that. But he believes that at least some of us are able to pave the way so that people in the future can do that re-evaluation. Now, since he's since he wrote that like over 100 years ago, maybe he's talking about us. But who can tell, right? Like, it would be so interesting if he could come here and like give his judgment, ironically, about where we are as a species and as individuals. But that's not really the thing I wanted to take from the book. That's because I've also been reading the book Crime and Punishment. There's this character who convinces himself that certain things that he did are okay, and then he finds out he isn't even okay with it himself. He's still embedded in this moral system, whether that's by choice or whether that's like because he's unable to get out of it. It's I know that Dostoyevski had his view on that, but for me, I think it's just the sort of experience that well, everyone who takes that journey to try and reevaluate, I think lots of people find themselves in the sense that by taking a step away from that morality, from that judgment of what's good, what's evil, they find out what they actually find good and evil, on top of the system that they're embedded in. Because obviously you're going to reject part of it and you're going to accept part of it after this reevaluation, but it's really hard to separate yourself from it. So you're kind of just going to have to accept that you're just going to have some views, you know? And I think that's related to what I talked about with the book's reviews too. You're just gonna have to accept that sometimes you know, at least with certain topics, you really like thorough books, and otherwise you want more, you know, like general books. So that's a part of finding yourself through that. But there's also this part of understanding that everybody does that. So when you are judged, you can take that into account. And now that I think of it, what I still wanted to add was Nietzsche claimed that morality was someone's preference anyway. So, for example, if you're the type of person that really cannot handle being deceived, you might say, oh, lying is always bad. Which to anyone who's not a universalist when it comes to morals would indeed disagree with. Well, they would agree with Nietzsche, but they would disagree with lying is always bad. So he would say that someone or some group of people just kind of decided that this is what they hate and this is therefore what is bad. People just kind of started believing it somehow. I don't think he's clear on how exactly that played out, but you can kind of see it when it comes to people judging you as well. It's just a preference, man. And let me be clear, like, everyone is allowed to have that preference, obviously. You're just not essentially bad or good. It's just not how it works.